And now we'll start with the commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, committee. My name is Davante Lewis, and on December 10th, I made a little history in this state. I became the youngest person elected to the Louisiana Public Service Commission. I had one of the largest defeats of an incumbent in Louisiana's history on the Public Service Commission. And I became the first LGBTQ elected statewide official, as well as the first openly LGBTQ black official in this state, and the first black LGBTQ person in America to serve in a constitutionally created office. My story is everyone's story. It is just me living my life. As you know, I've come before this committee and I've always talked policy, I've talked the issues, and I've never tried to impugn anyone. But oftentimes we have to remind ourselves that legislation can be violence. And hate is not just a word, it is not just a feeling, it is actions. And I say with the deepest respect, this is a hateful piece of legislation. Because what it does is it just centers. I don't like someone, so therefore we can't talk. Now, I spent 5 years as a classroom teacher, unlike some of the people that talked on this bill. And I loved every one of my children accordingly, whether they had an issue because their hair was different, whether they had an issue because their weight was different, their height was different, they couldn't read accordingly. And no time did I ever try to indoctrinate, as we keep hearing. But it was a recognition that we're different, and we should cherish our differences. What we are doing here today is debating a piece of bill that says, I want to exclude people. I don't want them to be a part of the conversation. Now, we keep saying this is about standards, and so, as you all know, as elected officials, we get tagged in posts and items, and I happen to be on Facebook. And a friend tagged me in a post from one of their friends who was a teacher. It was Black History Month. She gave an assignment to all students and said, pick someone in the country who's black and write about them. And when I looked on Facebook, this was there. A student had picked me, little Davante from Lake Charles, Louisiana, who's not a celebrity, but on the walls with other people, and the student said, Davante Lewis is an American politician. He's a member of the Louisiana Public Service Commission from the 3rd District. He is 30-year-old, born in Lake Charles, and he's the first gay member of the Louisiana Public Service Commission and elected on December 10th, 2022. This bill that Representative Horton does comes after me because it says you can't talk about me, and it's hateful. And I've never gotten this upset in the legislature, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people dictating who they like. I came before you earlier this year in redistricting, pleading the same thing. See me because I'm black. And this body said, no, we're not going to give you equal representation. And in this session, you come back and you're attacking me again. And so when I say it's hateful, that's what I mean, because your words don't matter. These bills and these actions matter. And what you do and the votes you take matter to people. This is the first time I've ever talked about being gay at this dais in any committee. But I feel a responsibility because I'm not going to cower in the face of hostility. I'm going to stand up for these people behind me and people across this state who feel like they don't have a voice. Because every time they turn on the TV, we hear what we've heard already. You're unworthy. I said in redistricting, and I'm going to repeat it again. The best lesson I learned from my great-grandmother was talking about her fights growing up in St. Mary Parish in Glencoe, Louisiana, daughter of a sharecropper and slaves. And her mother always asked her, my fight has always been, do you see me and do you hear me? And that's all I'm asking you to do today by deferring this bill. Recognize that you see me and you hear me, and you won't use policy as a violence tool as it has been used every step of the way in American history. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. And let me just say to you, you are my commissioner, and I couldn't be prouder
Thank you.
of you, and thanks for coming to testify.
Thank you.